sports fans, and thank you for listening to State of My Sports, where we talk about state of Michigan sports and state of Michigan beer. If you aren't following us on social media yet, please do so by searching State of MI Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast along with our YouTube channel so you do not miss an episode. For even more content, check out our website, stateofmisports.com. Before we get into the episode, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. The Hops Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports. Siciliano's Market helps us pick out the best Michigan beers for each and every episode. Also, Caleb from Mac Web Design helped us get our website created. So check out all of our sponsors and let them know that we sent you. Episode 81, we will briefly talk about our college football teams, the debacle that they went through.
The debacles.
In this debacles, yes.
More than one.
Before we get into the Detroit Lions' big win, and we'll lay out a path to the playoffs and preview the matchup against the Panthers. With the NBA draft tomorrow, we will talk about some of the Pistons rumors swirling around and discuss what we would like to see happen in the draft. And on draft night, I mean, it's never just the draft in the NBA. There are usually a lot of players moving around, a lot of trades, so we want to talk a little bit about that. We're going to have some fun drafting our most overrated sitcom characters of all time. So if you guys are watching us live, please share yours with us once we get into that segment. We'll make some picks against the spread, and of course we will grade some Michigan beers. I am Sam Waltart. With me today we got Ryan Waltart and Kyle Fossey. We're ready to drink some Michigan beer. We're ready to talk some Michigan sports. We're going to try, at least, to have a good time doing it. Thank you guys for listening once again, and thank you guys for watching on Facebook. We're excited to really just talk about sports. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
but
basketball season, right? That's what we all agreed.
Kyle, yeah.
Time to move on.
Yeah, we're very close, especially with our college football teams, which is really where I would like to start the podcast.
Okay. Yeah. What did we just say? Basketball, Sam.
Is college basketball even going to start
next week?
Is it really?
Well, I think so.
I don't know. Rick Pitino's out there trying to turn everybody away. Yeah, saying we need a
Is he really?
Yeah, May Madness.
Where is he coaching now? Is he even still coaching, or is he trying to be a...
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
Are we going to take advice from a guy who hired prostitutes for his players and stuff?
NCAA, man. I think they probably will. Yeah,
I mean, they will.
Yeah, he did something right, I guess. Right. But let's talk about Let's start with Michigan State. They lost to now 4-0, number 9 Indiana. What's their name? Indiana Hoosiers. Thank you. 24-0. And really, just like Michigan, Penix and Freifogel just killed them. So Penix went 25-28 for 320 yards and 11 catches for 200 yards for Freifogel and 2 touchdowns. One thing that I thought was interesting is Michigan State never even reached the 38-yard line. That was where they kind of called it quits. And I really think that's where the focus needs to be on with Michigan State as the season goes on is, I mean, Rocky Lombardi was absolute garbage. Once again, that's 3 out of the 4 games, I think, that he has been garbage.
Heisman candidate against
right.
Michigan.
Play Michigan every time, and you never know. But what were his numbers? His numbers were 3 of 7 for 21 yards and 2 interceptions. They brought in Peyton Thorne. So that was something that we talked about last week, where it was how short of a leash was Rocky Lombardi going to have. Well, we learned how short that leash was going to be when they brought in Thorne, who went 10 of 20. 110 yards and interception as well. So I think that really just makes – I think that's the only thing we're worried about right now with Michigan State. It's not about the wins and losses. It's about building a program. And I don't want to overreact and say Mel Tucker's not the guy because he's working with not very much. But when do you guys think he needs to pull the plug on, not necessarily today, and trying to win a game or two in this season and start looking to next year and finding the right guy? I mean, what do they have? So they have Noah Kim, who's a true freshman, and then Peyton Thorne, and then was it Theo Day? Are 3 other quarterbacks on top of Rocky Lombardi that everybody's like, you have 4 quarterbacks to pick from here. Who's going to lead your team into 2021 is, I think, the decision they have to make here soon. What do you think, Ryan?
I mean, I think Rocky Lombardi has shown who he is. I mean, that's what we do know. And I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought Peyton Thorne going out there, in the middle of a game is never an easy thing, especially with a deficit like they had. It's the defensive line's just selling out 100% to go get him. And he to me, he showed a lot of poise.
Yeah.
Like just the way he moved around the pocket, it looked natural. He looks athletic. He held on to the ball a little bit too long, but that's what young quarterbacks do. See, there's a difference in my mind with when people talk about development of young quarterbacks. There's a difference in the way they throw the ball or decision making. Like if they're seeing the field, the way they throw the ball versus somebody who just maybe needs to make quicker decisions. There's a difference in my mind, and from what I saw, very limited, but what I saw from Peyton Thorne, he looked like a legitimate quarterback that should be the one they're grooming for the future. I don't see that kind of a future with Rocky Lombardi. I don't think anybody does at this point. So pick your guy, and he had to beat out these other quarterbacks to be the number 2 as it is.
Yeah.
So roll with that for a while. See if how people react in game situations.
But in your opinion, Rocky Lombardi might have worked, but for a day or two. But at this time, you got to start looking at 2021.
I didn't think he should have been the starter from day one. I thought they should have gone Peyton Thorne and just kind of thrown him in there and see how he does, and let this be a development year to begin with.
Yeah, Kyle, you feel the same way about that?
Move on.
Yeah. First of all, how you been, man? It's been a while.
Good, man. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Did you
new,
tell
man?
everyone where it was or not?
No, I did not. You want to share with everybody? Or?
What did we do? We added a kid.
You did.
So that's 5 now.
Yep.
Tax return.
More.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3,
Another tax
4.
rebate.
Yeah. Other than that, not much, man. Work's been crazy, busy. It's good. Then I had a couple weeks that just didn't work. We had conferences, and then we had what happened last week?
Conferences were last week.
It was okay.
Yeah.
The week before I had something, so it's just been it's just
been
busy. Glad to be back though.
Yeah. We're really glad to have you. Everybody bothers. Like, we don't get a whole lot of messages or emails. For State of My Sports, but usually when we do, it's where's Kyle been? Where's he doing? And I just don't respond because it just hurts my feelings.
It's usually me asking
You
from burner
usually-
accounts.
Oh, is that you got the Kevin Durant burner
Like
accounts
Carlos
going?
Spicy Wiener wants to know where Kyle is. Nobody must be a listener.
Yeah, so
That's too random to be false. Like, that truly is a burner account. That's so specific.
Right?
so I think we're kind of on the same page here, where it's pick who you think is going to be your quarterback in 2021 and let him ride the rest of that season out. It's not necessarily about staying relevant in 2020 and not letting the bottom fall out completely. It's about grooming this team to have a leader moving into the next season.
What blows my mind is where Elijah Collins went.
That is,
He was their best player last year on a team that actually had pretty good weapons.
Yep.
And they don't even give him a chance. I don't know if that's just like a coach thing where he got on the bad side. Maybe it's grades. Maybe there's just more going on than we know about. I mean, they're college kids,
Yeah.
But that one just, I don't know. That's really surprised me. What I do think what State should be building this off of is they have a tough coach to keep the Michigan State, the Spartan way with just toughness and overplaying their talent.
Yeah.
Like that's their MO. And then they also have really good skill players at the wide receiver position. I think they're pretty deep at that position, and they're young.
And if they have a quarterback that can make great decisions, maybe it'll work
protect
out.
him. Yep.
Couple things that I thought was interesting that Mel Tucker said. He said nothing set. Talking about the quarterback, he said nothing is set in stone with this team, but we will go with the guy that gives us the best chance to win. We will see how this week goes. I've also heard rumors that Theo Day and Noah Kim are getting some types of looks. I think Peyton Thorne will be the next guy, or should get the start. But basically, I mean, he came out with a quote, and I thought this was absolutely said perfectly by Mel Tucker. He said, "Compete to play and compete to stay." I think that really puts a lot of these guys on call. And I think Elijah Collins is a perfect example. Maybe he's not competing in practice and going into these games. And look, you're not just fighting to get playing time this year. You're fighting for your scholarship next year. Otherwise, there's a transfer portal.
Did you see what Jared said?
No, what did he say?
This ain't no Rocky Balboa movie. Rocky's toast. Bring on the young gun.
There you go.
But he asked, which team would you rather have right now? Michigan or Michigan State?
I would still stick with Michigan personally. I think they're more talented.
Team-wise, maybe.
I think they're more talented.
Yeah.
And more times than not, I'm going to choose talent, especially in college.
I think he's getting to the more of a program coaching place, though, right? I mean, if Harbaugh, if this is his last year, or if he's going to get fired mid-year, now now the unknowns. Michigan State isn't going through that. They just got through that.
Yeah,
they have their guy.
If that's
True.
what he's asking, I would much rather know who my coach is going to be next year than be in this question mark.
Mike Hart, 2021.
What's going to happen?
I don't get that. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Coach.
Oh, he's talking about coaching.
Mike
All right,
Hart.
so yeah, let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about Michigan. They lost to now 2-0, number 10 Wisconsin, 49-11. The numbers were absolutely disgusting, and they're too small even for me to read. But first downs, it was 26-10. Third down efficiency, Wisconsin, I think that says 8 of 13.
8 of 13.
8 of 13. Rushing yards were 341 to 47. Passing yards 127 to 172. That's actually in Michigan's favor, so that was nice.
Yeah,
468 total yards to 219.
It's a win.
This is absolutely an embarrassing performance.
We won the passing.
We won the
game.
passing battle, you guys.
Yes.
Right?
Keep Joe Milton.
Yeah.
So let's start with Joe Milton. So he went 9 of 19, 98 yards, 2 interceptions. He did get pulled for McNamara, who went 4 of 7 for 74 yards.
There you go.
1 touchdown. From what I'm hearing, it's an open competition, and that is
Harbaugh said it today.
That's very scary to hear, but at the same time, rightfully so.
Oh, it has to be that way. Did you guys see his press conferences at all?
Who's
No,
Harbaugh's?
Jim
No,
Harbaugh's?
I don't listen.
Oh man, it's depressing. He looks like he's had his heart ripped out. Like he's all the words are normal coach speak, but you just watch the way he says it, and he looks like a zombie. He's got no life left.
That's what Jared just said too.
Really?
Did he say? I think I'd have more fun coaching the Spartans than this Michigan team right
Did
now.
he actually say that? Whoa.
I actually don't know if he said that, but that would be pretty bad.
I don't know.
There were a lot of expectations.
He sounds defeated. He really does. And this is a Jim Harbaugh that we haven't seen. And I think that's what we need to focus on. I think the quarterback competition is one thing. But with this, I mean, the elephant in the room is basically he's on the second to last year of his deal. That's the only coach that his contract expires after 2021 in college football, I believe, or Power 5 or whatever you want to say.
Power 5. Yeah.
I'm wondering if the writing's on the wall here. I don't know whose choice it is. I don't know anything about it, but it's just that's concerning to me. And it's not necessarily Harbaugh's the wrong coach. I still think he's a good coach. I still think he's the right guy to coach Michigan. But the Harbaugh that we're seeing this year is not the Harbaugh that I believe in to do that. The Harbaugh I'm seeing this year is Harbaugh in his last year at in San Francisco. He looks checked out. He sounds checked out, and everything he says and does, and that is scary to me. Not necessarily for this team in 2020, but I mean, you could really screw up the program as a whole by not being bought in right now.
Look at Jarrett, man.
Jared,
Screw
I
you,
knew
Jarrett.
I knew you were doing that, but I really thought Sam would bite on that, and but he didn't.
Yeah, I didn't believe that quote for a second.
None of us did.
I wanted to hear the rest of it. No, but I mean, what do you guys think about like long term? Right.
He's lost the locker room. That's what it feels like. He's lost the team. They don't buy into what's going on. He can be over there on the sideline and try to pump his team up as much as he wants, but they know it'd be fake. And at this point, when you're this run down as a team, a lot of expectations went into. Look, I think it was 2017. We lost so much defensive talent at Michigan, and everybody was talking about it being a rebuilding year and everything. And what did they do? They had
Top
they had
5 or
yeah,
something?
they had an amazing year with Devin Bush as middle linebacker. That's kind of one of the reasons why, even though we had young guys coming in this group this year, you thought they would at least compete for a top 10, top 20 overall defense, because year after year they do that at Michigan. We just got accustomed to it, except for against Ohio State or Wisconsin in recent years. But they are so lost on defense. You can't even point to Joe Milton as the problem. You can look at Joe Milton. You can look at the defense. You can look at the run defense. You can look at pass defense. You can look at penalties. You can look at literally across the board. They're not winning these matchups. They're not better than the other teams. They're not competing.
Yeah.
And once you lose your team, they're not competing for their coach anymore. He can't have a pep talk with them because they don't believe him anymore. You're done.
So Jim Harbaugh seems like the last guy you would ever not compete for. He's weird. Trust me. I understand that he's a weird dude, and he rubs players the wrong way often, I believe. But the nice thing about college is it's cyclical. You get rid of those players quicker than they can get sick. You usually. But right now you're seeing, like you said, I don't want to say he lost locker room. I don't know if that is safe to say yet, but it looks like it. I think it's definitely you can question it. But at the same time, like I don't know. I wonder if the contract, if we need to look more into that, if his foot, if he does have 1 foot out the door, and that this is something that, like, why hasn't that contract been signed? Why haven't we seen an extension? It seems like there's a division between at least the top guys at Michigan, whether it's the athletic director, president. I don't know. Kyle, I'm curious. We actually had a good talk about this, and I'm curious if you want to share. Like the division that you see between Harbaugh and the University of Michigan.
Yeah, I kind of between what you guys are just saying, I do think he's lost the locker room. Just to weigh in on that a second, but at least to a certain extent. But I think the University of Michigan has lost him.
Okay.
I think it comes. I think the person he is, what he believes in, who he is, does not align with the University of Michigan at all. And I mean that in many different aspects of who Jim Harbaugh is. And I think for that reason, in a year like this where you have everything going on with COVID, everything else, I think he's beat down.
Yeah.
I think he's sick of it.
Yeah. It seems
and I think
like
that makes it, like, I think Jarrett was saying too, like, but he does look like, he's just like the press conference. Like he doesn't look like, he's not the Jim Harbaugh who's like, telling players not in the media not to eat chicken because it's a crazy bird. Like
Right.
he ain't having fun anymore.
No, that's
Yeah.
true though. Yeah.
It is a crazy bird. Yeah.
No, I think what we're seeing is the Jim Harbaugh that was hired as a quote unquote Michigan man.
Yeah.
He's not a Michigan man. He was a Michigan kid.
Sure.
When he fit in the University of Michigan, he was a kid, and he was, I don't want to say being dragged along, but he wasn't able to be his own man and kind of. I don't know but he's grown up since then.
Yeah.
And what made him a Michigan man back then, it doesn't seem like he's that any longer. But I do want to. I think that's enough for college football. I do want to introduce.
Can we get into Joe Milton at all though? I mean,
yeah, if you want to talk. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Milton.
Yeah, because I mean, the biggest topics are obviously going to be Harbaugh. You say you're done with him. You want him out?
No.
Oh, okay.
I
thought maybe you wanted to weigh in on that.
No, like Harbaugh or Milton.
Yeah, no, Harbaugh.
No, I want Harbaugh to work out. I do. I still believe that he's a very good football coach.
I think
but
he's a good coach too.
Something needs to change.
I don't think he's working.
I don't want
systemic.
2020 Harbaugh.
I don't think he's working in college. And if you go back to even in Stanford, now I'm looking at this from a different perspective now. Like, okay, was he really the guy that we thought he was? He had Andrew Luck, one of the top talents coming out of college in forever, and they still had, 2 or 3 losses that year in Luck's senior year.
Yeah,
it's not like
still
they went
never
out and won a
conference.
national championship, a conference championship. I mean, at Stanford, they should be able to do that. They should pull it off in that kind of an atmosphere over there. And it's really never been the highest offenses. Like Andrew Luck was not putting amazing numbers up. Everybody just knew that would translate to the NFL. So I just don't think he works in the college game with all these other minds and all these other schemes going on. He doesn't fit in. He doesn't fit in with what wins in today's football.
So you would like to see him gone?
I've jumped ship, but mostly because I'm looking at how many quarterbacks have failed under him. And quarterback is always going to be my key. That's what I will always go back to in judging what a coach is. And he missed the boat completely on Joe Milton. And in my opinion, there's no way. So I was excited about Joe Milton, but I am also very quick to jump off the bandwagon. You probably know that from last year's. And yeah. You either have it or you don't. And it's so obvious that Joe Milton does not have it. He does not see the field. The game is speeding up on him. He threw the ball right to that linebacker for the second pick. That was brutal.
It was a terrible throw.
That was brutal. And what does he do over there on the sideline? He's doing his very best to not cry or just keep his chin up, but it's not in a good way. It's not like he's encouraging teammates sitting over there feeling sorry for yourself. And Jim Harbaugh didn't do anything about it.
That's tough talk from Dad over here.
And then they had a sideline reporter come up and talk about, Jim is saying, "You good? You okay? You're in the game?" To Joe Milton, it's like, are you going to do that, or are you going to go tell him what to do?
Yeah.
And there was no competition. He was not telling him, "Get your head in the game, or else you're going to get pulled," or anything else like that. He wasn't even trying to tell him. He was just asking him if everything's good going on.
Well, I'm curious about that because how many times? we've talked. I don't know if it's been on it, but you were a catcher for a lot of pitchers, and you have to stroke that ego. And a lot of managers do that with their pitchers as well. Is they walk out and say, "Hey, you good?" Look them in the eye, and read them. I'm curious where it's okay to do that to a pitcher, but not necessarily a quarterback.
I think there's a time and place for it. If it's the fourth game in a row or the third game in a row where things are going on like this, you don't just say like, "Hey, you look like you did the last few games too," but nothing's changed at that point.
Okay.
He's not. I don't know. I've been completely turned off from Joe Milton from his press conferences, the way he's playing on the field, and I think what I saw from McNamara right away was like, "Hey, there's a quarterback with some touch."
Yeah, I thought touch was the key.
Maybe
maybe
those 3 throws that he had for the touchdown, that whole drive, 3 of those were probably 3 of the best throws all year for Michigan. So
yeah, I personally would like to see Milton still get another shot. If he can't do it against Rutgers, then he can't do it, period. If he does it against Rutgers, that doesn't prove anything to me either. But I think he's the type of kid that will strive on confidence, and he has 0 confidence right now. If he can get a little bit of confidence, I think things could turn for him quickly.
I don't think confidence changes the way you see the field.
I agree with that.
He just doesn't see. We've talked about it. He doesn't see over linebackers. He doesn't see the cushion. He doesn't find the holes in the defense, and his accuracy is so bad down the field. It just isn't going to work out. I think you should just pull the plug early.
Sorry, going back to Jarrett here, but I do agree with what he's saying. You have coaches who, is he possibly a better NFL coach where you don't have to progress talent?
Yeah, possibly. But I don't believe a head coach in college football is necessarily the guy that progresses talent. I think it's the position coaches. Sure. And putting the right guys around him. I think that's just as important as a head coach.
Further
up, hold on. Sorry, go ahead.
Further up in his comments, what Jarrett's point is don't pay him so much because they're all in financial crisis right now. And then you can give more money to the other coaches.
There's plenty of money at the University of Michigan. I understand that as a point. When you look at his salary, he seems like he's getting paid too much. He took a pay cut, and he also pays his coordinators better than any other team in the Big Ten. Or other than Ohio State. But so I don't think that's a problem. What I see is a division between the top president, maybe athletic director, and Jim Harbaugh, and I that's what's concerning to me with Jim Harbaugh. It's not necessarily him as a coach. It's the support that he has right now, and that. So
part of you is agreeing with what I said then.
You say so much.
He doesn't want to admit it.
I honestly don't remember what you said.
Well, I mean, like about the college versus Jim Harbaugh, kind of like.
I think good football coaches are good football coaches.
And I just haven't seen a team compete this badly at Michigan, even during the Rich Rod era. So with far less talent, that's why I'm done.
But I also believe the way things can change. And just because it's looking bad this year does not erase 4 out of 6 years he's had 10 wins. So it's not like this season he forgot how to coach football. So it is a player issue, and that's part of on him. But right now it's execution and a player issue. If he can get that cleared up,
wins your metric
for a head football coach in college? I think so. I'm not arguing the way that this is looking.
Yeah, but I don't want to win because other teams are down. I want to beat them because you're a superior team.
Well, that's where I would disagree with you. The teams that they beat. So they've gone every other year against Wisconsin until this year. They've gone every other year with Penn State, who have both been in the Big Ten championship in the last 5 years. So even when they were at their top, Michigan's still there competing. When they lose, it's ugly. Don't get me wrong. It is very, very ugly, and you can't argue for those. But at the same time, when you're going every other year with those teams, and they are Tier 2 of the Big Ten, I think that tells you you're in the Tier 2 of the Big Ten. Not this year. You're nowhere near the Tier 2 of the Big Ten.
6th year?
I believe it's the 6th year,
so,
yeah.
And again, I'll always go back to this quarterbacks. You have had no really successful quarterbacks at Michigan in 6 years. And how many different quarterbacks has he had? Probably 4, 6?
Or 5.
So 5 different quarterbacks under, and it just hasn't been impressive. That, to me, just screams you're not cut out for this.
And my point is, like, you hear so many that are so strong on the fire Harbaugh side, it's because they're not looking at quantity of wins as a metric. They're looking at beating Ohio State, winning the Big Ten, going to the playoff, and winning a championship. Now that's a huge, lofty. The last one there is huge. But I think so many of them are you got to at least beat Ohio State once in 6 years.
And that's where I always argue this is things can change very quickly. Where you can have a very down year, look at LSU, and all of a sudden everything clicks at once. Maybe it's an injury for a quarterback, so for them, Alabama, and for us it would be Ohio State, but them down just a step or two, and us being ready to take advantage of that. I still see
They had
this
a coaching
team
change, though, to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A big one.
Ohio State does?
I'm just saying LSU went through a coaching change.
Well, there was talk about him getting fired for multiple years before he won the national title.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what
He
I'm
was
saying.
an interim
It's
coach,
like, and that's where I'm just saying it's like if you stick with them, stick with the program, and look at it as a program and not just a 2020 season, I still believe in the way this can go.
You mean LSU, last year LSU?
Yeah.
It'd be crazy if somebody predicted that really early in the season.
All right, this time we are turning the page to introduce our Michigan beer for episode 81. But before we do, I want to remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They are simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive between Grand Valley State University's main campus in Allendale and downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for it. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beer from across our great nation, they're individually priced so you can mix and match and build your own six-pack. Obviously, they have a selection of craft beer like I already mentioned. They also have specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, cigars. And they also have the highest or the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan as well. So we love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family, and it's who we trust to help us pick out our Michigan beer for each and every episode. So please check them out and let them know that State of My Sports sent you. Kyle, you want to start us off with your beer introduction for today?
I do. By the way, Siciliano's, it's such a great place.
It's so good. I love that place.
I was in there the other day. Transient Artisan Ales. I was just asking Ryan, is this the name of the beer? And I think we decided yes.
Yeah, it is.
On the side here, when will those clouds all disappear?
Right. It's more like a sentence.
It's a sentence of a name.
name.
The frustrating thing about their cans is like I want to get transient in the picture and the name of the beer, and I can't do it in one picture.
I probably
it's
keep
really
messing.
tough.
I probably keep messing with it too.
No, I mean like the picture when I post the
is that you?
the
who
beer
does that?
grades.
I thought Micah posted that.
No, I do that.
He gets one of the interns to do it, I think.
Yeah.
Sam does. Yeah. One of those guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a tangerine, lactose, and vanilla. DDH double IPA, 7.5 by volume. This is a very smooth beer.
I like their beer a lot.
It's very good. Were you guys saying you were saying Micah really likes this?
Yeah, he's drank a few of them lately, for sure.
He really loves. Let's get him.
Micah,
let's get him out here.
Let's get Mike out here. Oh boy. Oh gosh, Micah, what do you think of the beer?
I love it. What's going on? I
did not
know about this.
I wanted this in the shot, and Sam said you can say it's Micah when you do the grades or something.
I did not. That was your idea.
So Micah is here with us.
Micah is here. We miss him today.
The can is blocked. There.
Oh geez, Barbie.
Okay.
I mean,
good to go. There we go.
Love you, Micah.
Love you.
All right, Ryan, what are you drinking?
I am drinking. You know what? I actually should have looked at this ahead of time.
Yeah.
I'm
From
drinking
Brewery Vivant.
Cran Apple Blueberry. This is Brewery Vivant?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, from Brewery Vivant. It says delicious blend of fruited farmhouse ale and sour ale. It's actually, this is the color you can see. It's kind of like
a great color.
Yeah. What would you call that? Like a red?
I would call it red personally, but I
maybe purple.
It's got some, yeah.
It's got some purple into it. Yeah. This is a 5.0 percenter, so easy to drink. You can probably drink a lot of these.
You said it was a sour, is that right?
It's a mix. It's a mix between the farmhouse ale and a sour.
Let me get a sip of that before once you open your next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I am drinking from Petoskey Brewing Super Trooper. It's their brown ale, coffee and donut. 7.3% alcohol, 12 IBUs. I think this is it kind of speaks for itself, right? It's got it's called Super Trooper, and it's got donuts and coffee. and beer. So
Oh, and
I
it's got
think
like a
we're-
police badge.
yeah, it
Nice.
does have the police badge as well.
Very nice.
Obviously, Petoskey Brewing is in Petoskey, Michigan.
Very good, Sam.
Yeah, so they said Petoskey Brewing has committed to donate 10% of all proceeds
Figured that out
from
by
the
myself.
sale. Oh, guys, this is awesome. From this 10% of all proceeds from the sale of Super Trooper to Michigan Cops, an organization dedicated to supporting the surviving families and co-workers of Michigan law enforcement
Oh boy.
officers
Wow.
killed in
That
the
is
line of
awesome.
duty. And you can learn more at micops.org. So that is
I think
pretty
that's,
dang cool.
that's a point up no matter what.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
That's
full,
really
a
cool.
full point.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good for
So,
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
proud
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
awesome.
Very cool. Let's talk about some good football,
Is
guys.
this what we do now? We just keep going?
Yeah, we just keep
I
on rolling.
I thought we were gonna take a little break.
Did you guys want to?
No, I don't need one.
No.
No, let's
go
not.
ahead,
Let's
go
just
ahead.
keep
we're
on
good, yeah,
rolling.
man. Let's keep
All right,
going.
let's talk about the awesome Lions win. I mean, I'm so excited to
Best
talk about
football
this.
team in Michigan.
The Detroit Lions beat the football team 30-27 on a time expiring 59-yard field goal
I can't wait to hear what Sam has
by
to say.
Matt Prater. I'm just this table's starting to tip. After Washington kicked a game-tying field goal with 21 seconds left. On top of the game-winning drive, Stafford led the team. He went 24 of 33 for 276 yards and 3 touchdowns, 1 to Swift, 1 to Jones, and 1 to Marvin Hall. He was sacked once and had 0 interceptions, which I think is very important against that type of pass rush. He took care of the football. He got rid of the football. I think he played a very good game in that situation. Swift, as he should be, was featured in this offense on the ground with 81 yards on 16 carries for a nice 5.1 average. And through the air, also, he had 5 catches for 68 yards. Marvin Jones had 96 yards with 8 catches on 10 targets, which was very important with Kenny Galladay out once again. But in the first half, I thought the defense was perfect. Brendan not break. They allowed only 3 points, but simply broke in the second half, which was frustrating. We'll get into that a little bit. They allowed Washington to come back in the game with 7 points in the third quarter and then 17 in the fourth. But a win's a win in this league, and fans like myself can smile and just hold on because they're
more week.
still in the hunt.
One more week.
You still got it, boys. Even if you watch like ESPN and all of these channels, they have the Detroit Lions in the hunt.
They actually
Their
know who the
name-
Lions are?
Yeah, they do.
They talk about the Lions
They
here and
do.
there? Oh my
Yep,
gosh.
exactly. It's awesome. So,
Wow.
They've heard of us?
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
so I
pretty good.
I think, I mean, I don't want to get into the numbers. I want to start with DeAndre Swift, 21 touches and 149 yards, a 7.1 yards per touch. Only 4 carries, 1 catch for AP, 1 carry for carry on.
That's the way it should be.
This is exactly what we preached last week. And
In the week before.
in the week,
before,
yeah, we've been preaching that
Yeah.
for a long time. But finally,
Yeah.
right? I mean, what did you think about that game plan, at least on the offense side? Let's focus on the offense side right now.
I just loved the way that Stafford looked, but that also was partly because he had his safety blanket, right? He had his check down. And when they gave the ball to DeAndre Swift, and one of those screens was just awesome. I think it was like a 3rd and or maybe like a 7 and 18 or 2nd and 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he busted it out for like 28 yards. That wasn't there. You know, AP would have gotten a nice 8-yard gain or something, but he made that the big play.
Mm-hmm.
So now Stafford had that safety blanket to go back to make something happen when nothing was there necessarily. And then those 10 to 12, 14-yard runs where I just love the way he just like puts his shoulder down at the very end, and he's aggressive, right?
He's aggressive, but he's also shifty and patient. Like I think we're starting to see this kid really become
He felt
a true
he looked
NFL
comfortable.
player.
Yeah.
And I think it's massive for this team. We need a feature back. We need someone in there that can do it all. And that's exactly what he's shown. And I think the safety blanket is really a good way of putting it because, I mean, he would go in, chip the guy, and then they designed really good screens, but also as a safety valve, he was there. And when Hawkinson was I thought Hawkinson was going to have a big day. He was questionable kind of going in, but when you don't have a tight end to be that safety blanket, and a guy like Swift, like that was perfectly done. It was designed well. It was executed well. I was really happy with that.
He's the best offensive talent on the field. He's the best athlete on the field, so you get him the ball. I mean, how difficult of a concept is that? But that's what we've been talking about. Get your best athlete the ball. They finally did that. They made him the workhorse, the bell cow. he pulled through with making Stafford look good.
Mm.
And that's what Stafford needs. And then Stafford, you texted me during the game, and he's like, the run game is the reason why this pass game is so wide open right now.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it with the Marvin Hall touchdown. I think it was like 55 yards.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have happened if you didn't have that threat of and I think that was the key is he got the start. And I know, like, with a running back, getting the start isn't a big deal. Like, it's all about how many touches you get.
Sure.
But the fact that he was on that opening drive and that threat was there, that was the key. It wasn't a Adrian Peterson 3-yard run as a threat. It was, they give this guy the ball, he could explode if we're not careful. And all of a sudden, that opened up Marvin Hall for that big pass downfield, and that's exactly what we want to see.
Right after 2 big runs by DeAndre Swift to get them there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we saw. The second run was like he jumped through the line. It was just awesome to see.
Yeah, I kind of want to go wake up Easton right now because I was watching the game with him.
You want me to go?
Yeah. And
Go grab
he was like, we were watching the game, and honestly, like, so they ran the ball. There was the 2, I think it might have been a first down. I don't remember. But they handed the ball off a couple times, and then I turned to Easton. I said, yeah, now they're going to fake the handoff and throw it downfield. Sure enough, they did. Touchdown. He gave me a high five.
And all it took is because they were in man-to-man at that point. Stafford knew they were man-to-man, and he did one little shoulder check, got the cornerback to commit, and then it was an easy walk.
I don't even think it was a play action, if I remember right.
No, I don't think it was.
I thought it was, but the threat was there still at the same time. But yeah, I thought they set that play up perfectly. Yeah, the cornerback fell. He would have got a pass interference as well.
He bit on Stafford's check.
Yeah, I thought that was perfect. So I mean, Stafford as a whole, I thought that was probably his best game. Yeah, it's against Washington football team.
No, but I don't want that to be lost in this because
I agree with you.
Because they have one of the best pass defenses in football, and I think what they were ranked like in the top 5.
Yeah,
I think for pass defenses, and one because their defensive line gets to the quarterback.
Yep,
we saw 1 sack, I think.
Yep, only
Stafford
one.
Go down 1 time, and really it was a well drawn up.
He did get hit twice. He got sacked twice. One of them was a late hit.
Oh, the penalty.
The penalty. I think it was Chase Young got him up high, so it takes away the sack. But other than that, I agree with you. I think the offensive line played a really, really good game.
Yeah, they did, but they also game planned, and I think this was definitely the coach's best game. And again, we understand the Washington football team. They don't even have a name to their team. We know that they're not any good, but their pass defense is good, and it keeps them in games.
Yeah.
And so what did they do? They knew that their weakness was the run defense. They had to sell out and commit to that, and that opened up the pass offense. And Stafford looked comfortable. He was on point the whole game, and he was there when we needed him the most, right?
Yeah, and without Kenny Golladay I mean, they opened up the game for the not having a number 1 wide receiver. They designed it well to make that work, and without a tight end. I mean, Hawkinson played, but he was invisible in a lot of the games. He looked bad in a lot of ways as well. But they opened up the game for Marvin Jones, and Amendola was okay. It wasn't like I don't know. I thought it was just, like you said, a well-coached game. Probably the best coached game so far this year, other than the Bears game, I think, was a well-coached game as well.
And we've also gotten on the lines wide receivers a lot this year for, Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones Jr. not separating, not creating that space in between them and the corners. This is the other way to do that. You design your offense to get your wide receivers open, and that's what we saw. But it also, I don't think it's, Golladay was out, which means Marvin Jones Jr. was the one type of receiver that was awesome, but then all the other guys were more speed separation guys. You didn't have both of those same exact type of wide receivers out there clogging the field, and I think maybe it just, I don't know, makes the offense overall work better.
Yeah, so I do want to talk a little bit about the defense, then we can kind of move into what's next for the Lions. I thought defensively I really liked the way they played. I did, and I know that I will probably get a lot of criticism because of what happened in the second half and how ugly it worked and what the numbers say for a guy like Alex Smith. But that first half was perfectly coached. Yeah, you got to take away, you got to miss field goal, but I really liked the way that they decided to play that game defensively. And I mean, look, you had Okora, he had a sack. I think Griffin had a sack as well. I'm curious. So I made the comment, and I don't remember if we were recording yet. I don't think we were, but I said until they went into prevent, and you told me I was wrong on that. And what do you think was the issue from first half to second half.
Well, I've heard that a lot from people talking about how much they just like gave him space to dink and dunk for the rest of the game. But I watched a YouTube video where he actually broke down the defense between both halves, and there were very few times when the Lions were actually just playing off of them. One of them was a third down, or the big fourth down. I think it was really early in the second half. It's 4th and 13.
Okay.
Near the goal line, and they went for it. And J-Ron Curse gave a little bit too much cushion, but everybody else was tight man-to-man. And you saw that all the way through the third and fourth quarters where you're still playing the man-to-man defense. The only difference was I think the game got a little out of control because Washington had so much time of possession. They had the ball all the time that you saw it at those end drives. Like J-Ron Curse, he was sitting there just trying to get his breath. The whole defense was trying to get their breath.
Yeah.
You even saw that on the offensive side. You saw the wide receivers; they looked tired. They looked worn out.
For Washington?
Yeah,
you're
for
saying?
Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, they were running so many routes. They had so many plays over and over and over in that fourth quarter. I think that's what you saw. But you didn't see, at least going back and looking at the tape, the Lions did a great job of what do you call it? Like when they were running their crossing routes, they would switch off.
Okay.
So they did a really good job of dropping. They played a lot of zone this game. They dropped their middle linebackers and they brought their safeties up to cover the middle. And then the cornerbacks were just dropping back into a deep zone. And then the inside cornerbacks were then just trading over the middle.
All right.
So there was always somebody to pass to, but it was the bend not break philosophy where you better beat us 11 to 13 plays in one drive in order to earn your score.
Yeah.
They didn't earn it in the first half. We came up with some big, pressure plays to get them off the field. In the second half, I think we got a little bit worn out, but that's the way it worked. If our offense was any better, we would have put the game away.
All right. One thing that I wanted to bring up, I think the defensive line is turning into pretty good enough, in my opinion, that can really open up to play the way you want in the secondary. I think as soon as Flowers is healthy, and you have Flowers, Okwara, and Griffin as options. Obviously, all three of them won't be on the field at the same time, unless you might be able to make that work. I don't know, but once that happens, I think that's going to really be our first glimpse of what this defense is designed to be. Does that make sense? To have multiple guys that can rush the passer and get pressure without blitzing, and let the defense scheme their way into just a solid defensive effort. I thought we saw a glimpse of it this past week for the most part, but I really think once these guys get healthy, look out, because our secondary is getting healthy. Trufant's starting to look good. He got a BS pass interference call.
That was so bad.
I think the depth's there too, because you have a Warrior sitting there or a Kuda. You can switch these guys out and not lose a beat. And I really like the way this defense is. Look, the numbers. Look at the numbers, and I'm dead wrong, and I'm saying really stupid things. But I think the way that it looks like it's going to work the way they want it to.
Against Washington.
That was we weren't going to focus on that. Kyle.
Griffin has been so big for this defensive line. He had 5 quarterback hits in this game, which is more than I think it's more than any defensive lineman has hit a quarterback in the last 3 years for the Lions.
Okay,
it's huge.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. He didn't look good week 1 that he played. I thought he looked really good, and he was a different. I think he even had did he have a strip sack fumble or forced fumble? I think he was part of that, right? Doesn't matter.
No, what, week 1 or this one?
This one.
No, I think Collins had both.
Did he? Okay. All right. So the reason why this was not a big win, but a important win, I think that's a good win. It wasn't a good win, but it was a big win for the Lions, is because they still do have a path to the playoffs. So I do want to talk just a little bit about that before we get into this next week. Can we do that, or should we just?
Ugh.
Kyle's so excited about this.
Please keep
all right,
it short.
so what I want. All right, I'm just going to talk here. All right, so basically, I see winnable games. I don't want to say easy games, because nothing is easy in the NFL, especially for the Detroit Lions. So I'm not saying these are easy wins. So Jarrett, if you're still watching, don't get your panties in a bunch when I say that these are winnable games. You got Carolina; they're 3-7. That should be a winnable game. Houston on Thanksgiving, 2-7. That should be a winnable game. The way Chicago looks right now, they just lost Foles. Trubisky still might be hurt. we'll see in a couple weeks what's going on. But Chicago looks bad right now. 5-5. I'd say that is a winnable game. Then you're looking at week 17. I know we just got destroyed by Minnesota, but they're still 4-5. That, in my opinion, is a winnable game. So that gets you at 8 wins right there. Now all of a sudden you look at the other 3. You got Green Bay, Tennessee, and Tampa Bay. If you can steal one of those games and win your quote-unquote winnable games, that's
high?
9 wins.
Are you actually high
You
right
just
now?
keep winning week after week, then you'll be okay in the end.
Listen, all we have to do...
That's the way it works, right?
All we have to do is beat Green Bay, beat Tennessee, beat Tampa Bay, beat Minnesota, beat Chicago, beat Houston, and beat Carolina.
I do like your positivity.
We're going to the playoffs.
We actually would win the division. We would have a first-round bye. You know what? Screw what I said. I like your path to the playoffs.
Mine's even better.
Yeah, that's a really good path to the playoffs. All right, but if you can get to that 9-win mark, you're there.
Are they in the playoffs at 9 wins, you think?
That is to be determined. I think that is definitely a question because you got Tampa Bay, who's in a wild card spot. You got I don't remember who else there, but Seattle's another one.
Yeah.
And then LA, I think, is the other quote unquote wild card. So you got 3 of them this year. Might be 4 based on what Jarrett was talking about last week with the potential of expansion. Even again, I think 9 wins, in my opinion, will make the playoffs. How, I don't know exactly, but I think it's at least in the discussion. Once you get tiebreakers going, obviously things get confusing, but that's where I really want to focus on is you have these 4 winnable games, and then you steal one of the 3, which, in my opinion, isn't out of the question. The way Green Bay looks, they look beatable. Tampa Bay, you never know which Tampa Bay you're going to get. So
Green Bay looks beautiful.
Looks beatable.
They do. Did you see what they did against Jacksonville?
I remember what they did against the Lions.
Yeah,
right.
but Ryan, even you know that game was closer than the score said. It came down to that interception, that pick 6.
My point with the NFL is things are so up in the air all the time. The bad teams aren't as bad as people think they are. The good teams aren't as good as people think they are.
I will give you that.
You have extreme talents on one way or the other, so then your quarterbacks with the Chiefs are always going to be good in the end, but they can always go out there and just throw a clunker down. I mean, last week I don't remember all the great teams. I mean, Browns scored 10 points this week against Texans. Does that mean Texans have a great defense?
No. Did you see the wind and the weather that they're playing in?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, those are still professional athletes out there on a football field.
Yeah.
And so I think preparation for your team makes way more of a difference than I think the other teams that you're playing.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think
did
they prepare well for the Redskins? Yes, I think they actually did. I think the game, for a lot of different reasons, came down to the way it did. And I don't know, we haven't even really talked about how amazing 16 seconds to drive the field and get a field goal is.
Right.
I mean, everybody was talking about overtime already. That was incredible.
Kyle just did the schedule game.
He did losses for the rest of the year. No, but
I'd be okay
my point is Carolina's
just don't mix and match.
Carolina's 3-7.
One or the other.
Carolina's been very, very competitive this year. They've played a lot of really good games against really good teams. If you go back and look at their schedule, Houston is not as easy as you think. Their offense can tear up anybody.
I'm not saying easy.
Chicago, terrible. They're the worst 5-5 team I've ever seen.
I said winnable.
But any given
didn't
Sunday,
say easy.
any of the games is winnable. So
Lions should have won week 1 against Chicago, right?
All right,
DeAndre Swift dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Panthers matchup. Teddy Bridgewater, he got a knee injury last game. He's questionable. Christian McCaffrey, from everywhere I see, I don't think they've ruled him out yet, but everybody's saying he's out, so I'm sure he's going to be out with a shoulder injury. I agree with you that they've been a little bit more competitive than their results say, but they're also at a point where are they bought into Teddy Bridgewater? Are they looking to maybe draft a quarterback? I think they're playing with that. And if there's any question that Teddy Bridgewater can't go, this game, it screams win to me. And I know it's easier said than done. They're actually an underdog. The Lions are. They're a 3-point underdog. But you look at the way that this matches up without Christian McCaffrey. Like, that is the kryptonite for the Lions. If Christian McCaffrey plays, I have I don't want to say 0 because I'm a Lions fan. 50% chance of losing. You know what
50%.
I mean? Yeah.
I've never bet against them, just even.
That's as low as I'll go.
I know I have a problem. I mean, yeah, it's an issue. But like
without him, they lost 33-31 against the Chiefs just last week. The Panthers. They're a competitive team. I'm saying they're built pretty well.
All right.
I guess that's kind of my point with talking about that this last win, which we just scraped by Washington, is a terrible team.
I agree, but the Lions were in control of that game, so
Okay.
we're done. We're done with that game.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
all right. But basically, let's look at Panthers offense. They're 21st in total yards, 17th in passing, 21st in rushing, and 21st in points. So nothing on that screams like the matchup is going to be bad to me, especially with Christian McCaffrey out. I know that they've been okay without him at times, but he's the game breaker. And when you don't have your game breaker, that's when you're competitive and you don't seal the deal. And I feel like that's what this team is.
When the Lions played the Saints, what was the final score of that game?
It was a 8-point game?
6-point
game.
But it was made closer at the end, right? I mean, the Saints.
Yeah, but
the
they
Saints
also
were
had
always
a big lead at the beginning. So, I mean, you play a full football game, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just saying you used that exact phrase about the Saints, and I remember watching it thinking he's actually lost his mind. And you're saying that you're using the exact, they match up well. I think you'll say that about any team. You'll don't be mad at me. I'm just saying if they can match up.
If Bridgewater is
do you have
out,
another baby due? Or no?
Why are you back here?
Number 6, anybody?
All right, Ryan. What do you think about this matchup?
I think if Bridgewater is out, then I think, and McCaffrey is out, and then I understand where you're going. I still think it's going to be a competitive game no matter what. I think that's just the type of game the Lions play, and it's the type of game the Panthers play. It's going to come down to the end. If the Lions have the ball with Stafford, I am going to pick the Lions. If they don't, if it's the other team with the ball, then I'm going to pick the Panthers.
So their pass defense is 22nd overall. I know they played good teams, but I look at the Lions offense as a good. They're a good team. Or the Lions are a good pass team. Hopefully Galladay gets healthy. That would be huge. Hopefully Hawkinson's a little bit more healthy than he was this past week. But the way that the Lions have refocused their offense around Swift and then use your weapons as secondary options, that right there tells me they're going to make this. They're going to make it work. They have found something that works for them. And I know as soon as we think the Lions found something that works for them, they're going to go the other way. They go the opposite way, and AP is going to have 17,000 carries and touches, and I'm going to be frustrated all over again. I don't know why I do this myself.
But their offense is better set up for success right now as opposed to weeks 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that's the difference. I think we've seen them turn the corner in that way. Their defense is mostly healthy, and we're getting to the quarterback better than we normally do. Our run defense has been better of late, and that's been a trend over the last several weeks.
Other than Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but other than Dalvin Cook. But, I mean, he went to the outside. He really didn't beat us straight up the gut. And he was just a matchup nightmare. We couldn't contain him.
I think the key to this game is how bad the Panthers are on third down. They are 32nd, 55.3% third down conversion defensively, basically. So the way Stafford is, the way this team's starting to, they're going to have third and shorts constantly. I think that's one thing that's going to be very important is when you have third and short and you have options for Stafford, he will find that guy. Whether it's Amendola on a quick route, whether it's Swift as a safety valve or Hawkinson going up the middle, there are so many options on this team. They will find a way to make it work in third and manageable situations. And I think that's going to be a key. Stay on the field, maybe give your defense an extra breather. If Teddy Bridgewater plays, I don't see a way the Lions lose this game.
Look, I mean, if the Lions are underdogs in this, then I'll probably pick them.
They are underdogs.
Yeah, but I don't think it's not fair to go down. I know you love to do it, but the schedule game going win. We're good. We're good. We're just gonna win. But I'm just gonna do one I always do this for every segment, but I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant with all the people that talk about why we need to lose to be better in the end. And I just will never buy into that, especially in the NFL, because these guys, the guys that we have just spent all these big draft picks on and collecting a team, you do not teach them how to lose. The Lions have taught people how to lose for their entire franchise. I don't care about the next draft pick. You do what you can to win the games you're supposed to win right now. I don't care if it's lesser competition. You teach your team how to win games. That's the same reason why I didn't think it was okay for Jim Caldwell to go, because as soon as they were winning games and 9-7 wasn't good enough, guess what a 9-7 team turns into when you have a culture of winning? A better team. So I think that's what we need to help right now. We have these young guys They need to learn how to win and not just teach those guys that, oh, you know what would really help this team? The next first-round draft pick.
Yeah. The culture is very important.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I really like about the way that they're building this team is I really think they're changing the culture of it.
I agree.
They have gotten rid of some good players. They've gotten rid of a lot of players that are no longer in the NFL. And I think that is where you're changing the culture. You're flipping it for what it wasn't an easy fix. They admitted that it wasn't an easy fix down the road. I think they misspoke when they said 9-7 wasn't good enough. That means in every fan's head, well, that means it's about winning and we got to win 10 games. Otherwise, it's not good enough. We got to move on. No, they're rebuilding. They're refocusing this organization as a whole. And that's why I really want this regime to find a way to hold on. If this bottom falls out, and I can't even defend them because the way that it has looked at times is ugly. I want them to get another year because I truly believe what their goals are and what their focus is and for this organization, it will work if it's given time. And I think that's the key. It's not 9-7 isn't good enough. It is your mindset wasn't good enough to take the next step. And that's where I really believe in this organization. I believe in Coach Patricia, whether I question his schemes and all of that stuff. I believe that their goals are all in the right line. I want them to have that extra time, and I want them to win. I want them to succeed, not only for their sake, but for, like you said, the players' sake. I want them to learn how to win. I don't know where I'm going, but I want them to do good enough this year to give them another year. That is so important to me.
You want the Lions to win.
I always want the Lions.
Also, Jeffrey Okudah has been the top-rated corner of this last draft as a rookie, and he is equally, if you look at his stats, he is equal to Darius Slay this year in 2020.
There you go.
Love it. All right.
Have you always had that sound effect?
I've been dabbling in sound effects.
Is that because every time when I was there, me and Ryan used to try to open a beer when you were trying to do that?
No, I mean, to be honest, the reason why I started doing sound effects and not songs was because they started muting our videos.
I saw, yeah. Oh.
So, yeah, we do sound effects now to not infringe on copyrights. And also, Paradise Outlaw gave us their music to do our intro and
awesome.
Our outro now. So
I love that.
We don't infringe on any music. Sometimes when we do picks and stuff, but
do you want me to write
anybody though?
Maybe I could do a couple originals if you're interested.
Yeah, if you were behind Ryan's beatboxing, you guys could definitely do that.
Yeah, I'm game, guys. Let's do it.
That would be great.
I've been trying to start a band my entire life.
We should start a band and open a bar.
A band just started. You guys are crazy. It just started.
Let's open a bar tomorrow.
Done.
Okay. Does that sound good?
Those are money holes. You don't want to do that.
We should really open a bar tomorrow, though, like because everything.
You'd make good money tomorrow.
Right. I wouldn't lose any money, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, what I want to do is talk about some Pistons. The draft is basically today when people are listening. If you're listening on Wednesday, the draft is on Wednesday. There's some rumors going around. So basically, let's start with base. So they made a trade. They traded Bruce Brown for a second-round pick, and who else did they get from? Was it the Nets?
Yeah, it's let's see. His
name
is Zanan Musa.
Zanan
a 2021 second-round pick in cash.
Okay,
for Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
So, small move.
Small.
I've heard people mad about it. What does that kind of tell you? You brought it up off the air, but what does that tell you with getting rid of Bruce Brown?
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, it means that Derrick Rose is on an island right now as the point guard, and so with this draft, it makes the most sense for them to go after some sort of guard in this upcoming draft, which is kind of the consensus anyways leading up to this. But it just kind of makes that argument a little stronger now.
Yeah. So what I want to let's start with who. So we're 7th overall. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the 7th overall pick. Who do you think that the Pistons have a shot at getting that could really make a difference on this team at 7th overall?
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's kind of a multi-tier thing going on right now. I think the first tier is really 3 players. It's LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, and Anthony Edwards. I think those are kind of the top 3 players. Everybody after that, basically from 4 to I would say 8, are kind of in this second tier, and it's the guys that the Pistons are going to be looking at. And the big guys in this group are Onyeka Okongwu from USC. He's a power forward. He moves really, really well. Basically, he can guard smaller guards out on the perimeter, and he can move his feet really well, and he defends the rim great. He's really long and lengthy and everything. Great athlete. And then the other big guy that could be there, who I don't think will be there, is Obi Toppin. Power forward again from Dayton, super athletic, jumps out of the gym. He won the College Player of the Year award this year for the NCAA. Those are the two bigs, but I think the more realistic way we talk about guards is Killian Hayes is a big name that everybody keeps talking about. He's a point guard out of Germany, and he's young. He's like 18 years old, 19 years old, but he has a lot of pro experience coming into this already. 6'7" point guard, left-handed, sees the floor really well, not overly athletic, but he handles the ball, and people are thinking that he's kind of a perfect fit in today's offenses where you can take 4 steps without dribbling and move wherever you want, and as long as you have good size, you can defend a little bit. You don't need to really shoot all that much.
All right, so is there one that sticks out to you that you hope? So let's just assume again that we're picking at 7 that you hope somehow falls. Like, let's say he's projected 4 to 8. Who is there a name that you think fits for this Pistons team from day one?
So this is so hard because the Pistons have some talent on their team, but what they have been missing for a long time now is somebody who to control the ball, to be a ball hog. So ideally, I don't think we really got into it, but are the Pistons in the market for a trade to move up? If they are, and they get a guy like LaMelo Ball, if they do this crazy thing and trade up to number 1 to get LaMelo Ball, that's the perfect fit because he holds the ball all the time. He's your decision maker, and that's the decision maker for the future. I don't think you really, unless you're going to go with Killian Hayes, and he's the future of this franchise as far as the ball handler, then the next options after that are, I would love if Onyeka Okongwu fell. I think he's a great big man. He would actually fit really well with Christian Wood because they're both athletic, big guys who can both shoot and defend the rim pretty well, and I think they would fit really well in today's NBA. But also Isaac Okoro, he's out of Auburn. He's a small forward. My only problem with him, he's 6'6". He's super athletic, great defender, can shoot the 3. He's not the best ball. He doesn't have the best ball handling control. My fear with going that route, though, is I feel like everybody we've drafted in the last 10 years has always been that guy. They've been somewhere in the middle, and we haven't they're all role players. They're all the Stanley Johnsons who you think are going to be great 3-and-D guys, and they just never end up being what we think. Even Luke Kennard, he's kind of that same mold. So I'm not sure. I think overall, I'd actually be most comfortable if we got Onyeka Okongwu, but that's not going to be a win now thing, and that would be more get the guy who's going to be handling the ball for the future in next year's draft.
All right, so a lot of rumors going around. Like, it seems like every rumor you read is Pistons are looking to trade up, like you mentioned with LaMelo. So I read something today that was the top 3 teams were allowed to show up at his workout, and the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, we all know who his dad is, and the outspoken a-hole that nobody really likes. But he said that LaMelo wants to play for the Pistons. And that is a big name for. I mean, it sounds like that's what a lot of people are kind of going at, is he's going to end up in Detroit one way or another. There's a lot of rumors about trading up to number 2, and then number 1 wouldn't be LaMelo. I don't know what. I'm sorry, who has the first overall pick? It's not in front of me.
Timberwolves have the number 1.
Timberwolves,
and it's really between LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
Kid out of Georgia.
It sounds like they're leaning towards Edwards, and the Pistons could trade up to 2 and get LaMelo Ball. So you already said that you would be okay with that.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
you like the LaMelo Ball fit in Detroit.
I think LaMelo Ball fits in Detroit better than almost any other team. That's the reason he wants to go there.
Okay.
They are what the Pistons do not have is somebody to hold the ball and make all the important decisions. That's what LaMelo Ball is. He's not the best scorer. He's a very good finisher at the rim, but he's not the best scorer. He's not the most athletic. He's pretty athletic, but his best trait is court vision. He wants the ball in his hands all the time, and he wants to make the right decision when he wants to make it.
Yeah.
And he is beyond his years with seeing the floor, and I think that is so valuable in today's NBA. And if you're not the Russell Westbrook crazy Dominic type of athlete, what's the next best thing? It would be decision making and looking and seeing the court.
All right. So I mean, there are a lot of rumors. You got to give up a lot to move up to that spot. Is it worth giving up future assets and going all in on this type of decision, or is it more like?
Why don't you break down the trade that you brought up earlier?
All right. So
some
there
of these rumors.
were some rumors. So one rumor that I heard was Griffin and the 7th overall pick to the Golden State for Wiggins and the number 2 overall pick. So then they would be able to get LaMelo Ball. They would get rid of the Blake Griffin contract, which I think is a win as a whole. Like, I love that. Nothing against Blake, but I think that would be very good to get rid of that contract. But I mean, that I don't know. I don't think Wiggins is really a
it doesn't matter.
Great thing.
Absolutely.
If you can
You
get rid of
trade
that contract,
Griffin,
you
especially if you can move up and get. And, you know, Jarrett actually has a comment saying that trade Griffin, get Wiseman at number 2. Edwards is overrated. I actually agree with that 100%.
You can get Wiseman at 2.
I think if you get Wiseman or you get LaMelo Ball, but you don't go Anthony Edwards, and he's the most athletic. He's the best scorer. He has so many of the traits that everybody loves. He's not a winning. He doesn't play winning basketball, and it's obvious to me, at least. I think that's the kind of player he is. So I agree. I think you stay away from that. But if you can move up and get either one, James Wiseman's a freak. He's like 7'1" with his standing reach. He reaches up 9 feet 6 inches. It's incredible, and he can shoot, and he can dribble, and he's athletic, and he can guard the perimeter. He's would be good on any team. So I think that would be an obvious fit. Either one of those two. If you're going to trade up and you're worried about trading Griffin, don't be worried. Absolutely, make the trade immediately.
Okay, but if trading up means giving future first-round picks, where do we stand on that? Because I personally don't think you should be giving up first-round picks with where the Pistons are at, because they're far from being, high 20s in the draft. So if you're going to give up a first-round pick in 2021, you're giving up a potential top 10 pick either way. And I don't like that. The way I look at the Pistons is you're a decision away from being top 3 in the lottery, or staying in the middle of the pack, or maybe getting, a 6th seed in the draft. And that's not doing you good either way. So in my opinion, it's like, if you're going to give up a first-round pick, I don't like that. But if you can do it without giving up the first-round pick, then it's a no-brainer.
It depends who you're trading with and what the deal is, because if you're trading first-round pick for first-round pick, then it's a different story. If you're just giving up future first-round picks, then I absolutely agree with you. Pistons are set up to lose right now and over the next couple of years, so why would we be giving away the most valuable asset that we have as the Pistons, which is the future, the unknown, to go get something? People are talking about this draft being a weak draft class, too.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily 100% agree with that. I think it's going to be better than people think. But why would you be giving up something for potentially better draft picks in the future?
Yeah, because this is not a super strong class.
No, you're not getting a LeBron James or anything close to that. You're getting a role player.
Yeah.
For having
maybe
superstars.
A little more.
Yeah. Which is why I'm not throwing the trade off the table, though, because if you're role player, if you're talking about the difference between LaMelo Ball and Killian Hayes, I think there's a huge difference.
Okay.
And I think there's way more of a future. You can build something around a guy like LaMelo Ball with that kind of confidence, that kind of work ethic. Yeah, is he cocky? Sure, but I mean,
it's the NBA.
We would come to love that in our city.
We just had a guy in Houston decline $105 million in 2 years or something like that. Yeah, that's cocky, but anybody would take him at this point,
there
right?
You go, yeah.
There are a lot of teams. I personally wouldn't, but that's a different story. But the way I look at this draft and the Pistons as a whole is, you need to build this through the draft. Like, there's no other way to build a winning organization with the way the NBA is panning out. All these players are picking and choosing where they're going. You're going to have 4 super-ish teams, and then there's everybody else. The Pistons need to do it through the draft, and I don't know if being aggressive in this draft is the right decision. If you can be aggressive while not giving up the future, that is ideal. If you can get rid of bad contracts with the Blake Griffin, that's the focus for me. It's like, be aggressive, but at the same time, be smart and be patient. Sorry, go ahead. I
would make getting rid of his contract a priority. I think at this point.
Yeah.
That's not like you said. It's tough because it's not that strong of a draft. But if you can get rid of it and move up somehow, man, I would jump all over that.
But I mean, you look at like Okongwu or Obi Toppin or Isak Okoro. Those guys would actually be really good fits on a lot of teams.
Yeah.
They're not a good fit on they're not going to make the Pistons into a winning team right now.
In 2021.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not the goal with this. Sekou Doumbouya is still probably the youngest player in the league.
Yeah.
Like after this draft, he probably still will be the youngest.
Wow.
That's how young he was 17 years old, I think, when he got drafted.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're playing for him to come into his own when he's 22, 23 years old. That's the end goal with the Pistons right
and
now.
that's why and that's why I look at Blake
good
Griffin
point.
as like very important to get rid of, because if he's on your team, that's 7 wins, and that's a lot in the NBA. That's a big difference in the lottery and all of that stuff. You're not looking to win in 2021. Like, period, end of story. That's not happening. Even if Blake Griffin is healthy all the way through and you get the perfect draft pick, like, you're not winning. You're not going to be successful, at least to the point that we want. That's why it's like either be aggressive and get the right guy for this draft for the future. Like, don't worry about 2021. Don't pick the player that's going to make you 5 wins better in 2021. Pick the player that's going to make you 15 wins better in 2023. You know what I mean? And I don't know who that is. I think you kind of laid it out pretty well, Ryan, and for the people that are dumb at the basketball like me. But like, I look at this
Dumb at the basketball.
I just think that this organization's at a point that they need to admit who they are and get rid of the Blake Griffin contract before he wins you 12% out of the
But
lottery.
just remember, I mean, we got rid of Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
We got rid of Reggie Jackson. The team knows this.
I
the
think
team
they
has
know
been
it.
going
Yes.
that way. They will do anything they can to sell Blake Griffin at this point.
All right, is that enough Pistons talk for you guys?
Let's do it. What are we getting
All right.
into next?
I just need to open a beer.
Oh.
Well, this is another sound effect. That's just our transition now.
It
What
did
we
a,
have?
It did
What?
a pause, and I was really hoping you hit the wrong button.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I
Once
forgot
an
about
episode.
that. It's so loud.
Sorry. We're gonna make.
Probably my headphones.
So we got our. Can you hear my voice or no?
No, you disappeared.
Is my voice gone?
You just messed something up.
Oh, I'm turning the.
Oh,
There we go.
Did you fried my eardrums?
You just messed everything up, yeah.
No, what I did was I turned the main sound down, not just the music, but the music is down. We never figured out who was going first. I think Kyle should go first. Let's just go in order. Kyle, Ryan, Sam,
Okay.
and then back that way. Does
Sure.
that work for you guys?
Yeah, works.
All right. What we're going to do is we're going to do our draft game for the most overrated sitcom characters. But before we do that, I should probably cut the music here because I want Kyle. I'll just keep the music going. I'm just figuring things out in my head.
What are we doing?
All right. So last week we did our most underrated draft, and you thought that we left some big names out. You said you had some
did.
honorable mention that you wanted to bring up.
The first thing I wanted to do was commend Ryan on his Job.
You meant
Bluth.
Sam, but
Job Bluth.
oh,
Underrated.
Or Gob.
Gob.
Gob. Gobias Industries. One of the most underrated characters
Oh, yeah.
in any TV show.
yeah, never seen it.
Right? You picked that one, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
absolutely,
okay, good. So from Parks and Rec, I had Jean-Ralphio Saperstein.
As an underrated.
That's so underrated. That guy
Yeah.
is so funny. Did somebody,
Honestly, my first time watching through, I didn't like him. The second time through, I was a big fan.
okay.
Never mind. I'm not gonna get into. any
Did
further.
somebody take
Did you like
Ron?
the season start? Oh.
Did somebody take Ron Swanson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jarrett did. I
Okay,
believe.
that's a great poll. I love Robert California.
yes.
Oh, very
That's
good.
a really good one from The Office.
People hated him.
No, I didn't.
I thought he was. I thought he was
he
great.
was the best character.
And he's such a good actor.
He was so good.
Um,
Does he
Perry
act in anything else? I've never seen.
Yeah,
him
the
in
same
anything
way.
else.
Spader. Yeah, all the same. Always.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Perry Cox from Scrubs.
Oh, yeah.
Which one is that?
He was the older,
He's the main
the main older
The main
doctor.
doctor, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can picture his face.
Okay, and then I had. Did you ever watch Reno 911?
No.
Okay,
I did here and there. I did.
Okay, there's a character named Terry who's very like ancillary, like he's not really a main character, but it's Nick Swordson on roller skates.
Oh, yeah.
basically. And
Yeah.
he's in every season, but he's very good. So, but the main one definitely Gob, and Robert California.
All right. It is time to make our draft picks for the most overrated sitcom characters. Kyle, you are on the clock.
Sitcom. Now, you guys made rules that it has to be like a 30-minute.
Ish. So
I think that was like the main rule. It didn't have to be typical sitcom with laugh track and everything else, but
Right.
30 minutes.
And what defines a sitcom?
30 minutes, in my opinion, and on TV.
Okay. All right, I gotta get rid. My first pick was going to be. I think the commissioner over there is not going to allow it, but because it's so heavily scripted, I wanted both Property Brothers. It's completely scripted.
It's very, very scripted, yeah.
It's very scripted. Okay.
I don't know how we're going to pull this off.
So let in do the pick is in chime for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my pick is in, and this is a.
No,
Property
wait.
Brothers.
I
Completely
do
did that.
take the Property Brother. No. This is a doozy. I want Chandler from Friends.
Whoa. He was on my underrated.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Brutal. Was he real? Oh.
I got it written down as my number one as well. If I had the first overall draft pick, that's where I would have gone.
I love his dry humor. I love it, and I love his sarcasm throughout the show. I love sarcasm.
It's not good. Like
He has a terrible chemistry with everybody else on the show.
he has a terrible chemistry.
That is
with
not a
everything.
him problem, though.
No, it is. He was on
Yes,
drugs
it is.
the whole
He's
show.
a bad actor. He's overrated.
I'm not saying he's
was he the one who
good.
always said literally? No.
No, that was
a different
but
show.
He had literally, very good.
Well
Yeah.
done. That was good.
That was. But he had a thing.
He said that is.
Could it
the-
be anymore?
could
or
it-
so,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Be a better character.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yes, he could. Number one, Chandler.
All right. Ryan, you are on the clock.
All right. So with my first overall pick, I don't even
Is your
know a
pick in?
character's name, not yet.
Oh,
So you're gonna have to help me out with
okay.
characters' names. But the pick is in. You know where I'm going with
I know
this.
exactly where you're going.
I think I do
It's
too.
it's from the show How I Met Your Mother,
I think I know.
and you're gonna have to help me out with character names because I have no clue.
Is it Barney?
No, it's
The
the main.
main-
It's
The main
Ted.
Ted Mosby?
Ted
Ted.
Mosby.
Ted.
He's my number two. It's literally.
I love Ted Mosby.
Why do you like such?
But I'm also a hopeless romantic, like he is. So
brutal.
I
Brutal.
don't like your guys' picks right now. Maybe we should just scrap
This
this
is your
idea.
segment, man.
Let's scrap this. All right, so Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother. Okay. Oh
That whole
boy.
show is garbage.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so I am on the clock. My pick's in. I cut that a little short there. I'm gonna go with Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
Are you serious?
Yes. So, all right, I like that show at times, but I think he's very overrated because he does not deserve his own spinoff like they got with young Sheldon. So I know he's overrated. He's not that good of a character. He's kind of annoying, but he's also kind of funny at the same time. But that's where I'm gonna go with my first pick.
I hated that show so much for so long. Like I stopped caring about it completely, but I actually disliked it for a long time.
I do dislike that show.
Yeah, most of the time I'm the kind of person that will be indifferent about anything that I really don't like, but that show just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know.
It irks you. Yeah.
It's the people that watch it. This might be a little too personal. Never mind.
No, I want you to finish it.
Well, I heard the line so many times. It's like, well, I mean, I took physics, so I understand a lot of the
Yeah,
jokes. I
people
think
got
the
into
jokes
it, yeah.
go over most people's heads. Like I don't know.
kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that same thing. Like, well, I understand.
I
what
only
he's
think it's
going through.
funny because I understand it. Oh, you're
Yeah.
so smart. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go. My pick's in for the second. My second pick.
Oh, that's right. It's Snake.
Yeah,
I was ready.
I'm gonna go with Coach from New Girl.
I never saw a new.
So, and look, I like the show, and he's really not that bad of a character, but he does not fit with the rest of the show, in my opinion. Every time he was on, he drove me nuts. I just didn't like him as a character. So, there are probably a lot more overrated characters, but I just didn't like the way he fit in that great show. So that's why I think he's
Is that a
overrated.
good show?
It is a very
Yeah,
good
it's
show.
a
I've
good
never
show.
seen that one.
I'll give you that though. Coach has some of the worst moments on the show where it's just
Yeah.
awkward.
Awkward,
And
very
it-
awkward.
And it's because of him, but there's also moments where he just has me going, and it's hilarious.
There's a couple times, but yeah, I think for the most part, he's disappointing.
He either
He's
has a ton of
disappointing
value
character.
or he just like ruins moments.
Yeah. So,
Moment
Coach, new girl.
Ruiner.
That is my second pick. Ryan, you're on the clock.
All right, with my second pick. Oh, the pick is in. I mean, I know this is on your guys' list, so I'm going to go with it early because I don't have many options written down. I'm going to go with Turtle from Entourage.
Yeah, that's a good pick though.
It is good.
Even
What
at
a
number
great show.
two, that's a good. That's a good pick.
Yeah,
it is a great show.
It's a great show, and then you just have Turtle, and it's like,
Yeah, it doesn't make
what
any
did
sense.
you? And then they tried to make him all like sophisticated
Oh,
at the
that-
end, like
that
running his own
ruined-
business and everything. Unless that's the part of the true story of Mark Wahlberg and his buddies.
Yeah, I don't know that it is.
I don't think
doubt
it is
it.
either. I think it just ended up there.
Yeah.
Right, but they tried to like redeem him, and it was a whole.
Yeah, I did not like that part of it either. Like, it drove me nuts, and that he needed his own agent and stuff. And,
And then
all-
he
like,
needed-
yeah, it was like,
Famous girlfriend and everything else.
yeah, it's like, no, come on. It just seemed like a reach. I like that. I like that pick. All right,
I did too, and that
Kyle-
was on my list. Yeah,
Kyle. Yeah, it was on mine as well. Kyle, you're on the clock.
I can't pull the Property Brothers.
No,
I knew you'd hate it
it's
because
not
it's not
24 to 30 minutes.
It's not a sitcom, and it's two people. All right, my pick is in
And how do you consider them overrated?
because they're
That's a
brutal.
whole other issue.
Oh, those two, they're
All right, you said your picks
knuckleheads.
in.
Yeah, there's way better in the business. My pick is in, and it is Steve Urkel.
Whoa, that hurts a lot of feelings.
Yeah,
Not to
I
me. I
never
completely agree.
he was just a doofus. Like, I get the character, but like, did I do that?
How did
like,
that become an actual character?
Yes,
it's a
exactly.
ridiculous.
Like, and
character.
the show was really good. The show didn't really need a Steve Urkel.
He was kind of the main character of the show, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't even in that.
Who was the main character of the show?
The dad.
Wow.
Family. The family matters. It's not even his family.
It's true. Yeah,
It wasn't Neighbors Matter, because he was a neighbor, right?
That's my point. Yeah,
we
yeah.
always called it Steve Urkel.
We
really
did too.
called it the
Yeah,
Urkel. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I agree.
But like, he's got the high pants and the I don't know.
All right, you're still on the clock there, Kyle.
Okay. My pick is in. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo-doo-doo. And I want Grace Adler.
No idea who that is. You're gonna have to explain.
Deborah
that
Messing from
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace.
one. Oh, is she the redhead?
Yeah,
or
the,
is she
the
the-
main woman.
She was a redhead, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
believe so.
I think that was a terrible show.
I just think, yeah. the
I think
show
she
didn't-
was. Yeah, I think that's a good pick because she was a main character in just a terrible show to begin with.
Right, yeah.
I don't think it was funny. I don't think it lasted way too long.
It always felt like, I always felt like laugh track. It was like, I think Ryan said it sort of like punchline, laugh track.
Oh.
Punchline, laugh track.
Yes.
Like, it's
Yeah.
annoying.
It's the
So-
CBS way, though.
Yes, it totally is.
You get that with. I could name countless CBS shows the same way.
Well, I'm going to bring up a show that kind of has that same mold, but I think is the opposite and actually really good. Last Man Standing is a very good show, and it has that similar feel with punchline, laugh track.
But that's
Is
because
that fair?
That's because their punchlines aren't just like the obvious joke right in front of you. Their punchlines are like more societal and I don't know issues that are going on right now that you may or may not agree
right.
with.
What did Jared say? Underrated was the friend Waldo?
Oh, in Family Matters. Waldo.
Oh, Waldo. That is underrated. He's right.
Yeah,
Is
that
that
was,
Urkel
that
too?
was
Is
solid.
that-
No,
From Urkel, yeah.
yeah, it's from the same show, but
Yeah.
that he was okay. He drove me nuts a little bit, but he was good. He was funny.
Nice pull, Jarrett.
That was a good pull. All right, Ryan, you're on the clock.
So I'm trying to figure out what CBS show I'm going to throw under the bus now. It's either Two Broke Girls.
I never watched it.
Me either, so I'm not going to go
rough
there.
show.
Yeah, it's a bad show. That's
It
why.
was.
Yeah. Or I'm going to go 2.5 Men. What? I'm going to go.
Two something.
The pick is in.
Right.
The pick is in. I'll figure it out on the way. 2.5 Men. And Charlie Sheen. It's too easy, too obvious. Every single joke is the same.
Here's why I say that's a good pick. Because for some reason that show did so well and was on for so long. And I remember watching it being like,
Yeah,
I don't
why?
get it.
Yeah.
Why?
I think Charlie Sheen was a very good character. I thought he was hilarious.
Well, you'd be wrong.
I thought Alan was the annoying one.
Well,
He drove me
Alan's
nuts.
character is supposed to be annoying.
You group them together as a whole, and I'm okay with the overrated pick.
I don't know. I don't like that. I liked Charlie Sheen's character in that show. I don't know. But I'm just a hopeless romantic too. So
Stop saying that.
he was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it.
Right, he
And
was
this
just
time around.
nailing broads. Like he's the total.
That's what it was. Just too obvious. The whole show was so predictable.
every episode was the same thing.
Yes, and he was so predictable.
Yeah.
All right, I got my picks in. All right. I have 2 from Parks and Rec that I want to go between here, but I'm not going to pick both of them.
That's a good show. Careful.
All right, I'm going to go with Mona Lisa from
Saperstein.
Parks and Rec.
Saperstein.
Look, she just drove me bananas. I hated her as a character. I don't even think she's overrated because I doubt anybody even liked her, but I hated her so much. If she's rated even a 0.1, that's overrated because that was the worst character in that whole show, and possibly of all time. She drove me nuts. She was a terrible character.
You understand that the character is supposed to.
Yes,
drive you crazy.
I know that. I do know that.
Okay.
But she was
hilarious. Literally hilarious. She plays the role perfectly. He's so mad.
Hey, you wish Micah was here today.
I know, but no.
Get me. Where is Micah?
The worst show for you to be on.
No, but she was terrible. She drove me nuts. She ruined
When she goes,
her twin
"Money,
brother.
please."
That drove me nuts. It wasn't funny. She wasn't funny either. She was disgusting. She grossed me out.
That's the point of the character.
Well, they shouldn't have done it.
Well, okay, all right.
A lot of feelings.
All right, so my last pick's in, and I should just get this over with.
Sam and I get along a lot better when I don't do this podcast.
Yeah, when the mics aren't on, he's actually nice to me. All right, I'm gonna go a little off the board here. My pick's in. I'm gonna go with the skipper from Gilligan's Island.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Throwback,
So
yeah, really way
I
back.
watched that show as a kid growing up, and he just was mean. He was just a mean person to Gilligan, especially. I felt terrible for Gilligan. Maybe I just related a little too much with Gilligan.
You're kind of a Gilligan type.
I'm kind of just a sensitive romantic or something like that.
Has he been saying this term every podcast 100 times?
I don't remember, but I'll have to go back.
I didn't like him. He drove me nuts. He was mean to everybody, and he was the reason why they stayed on the island so long.
Isn't that kind of the funny part?
Probably, but it's just sensitive.
Stop with the hopeless romantic
Sensitive.
and take the property
He
brothers.
bothered me. He bothered me, okay? So that's who I'm rolling with. Ryan, you're on the clock.
I'm up. All right, pick is in. Ross from Friends.
Mother of pearl. I had a whole thing planned how I was going to start with Friends and end with Friends, and it was going to be Ross.
I think that's a great pick because who in the world would not just date Jennifer Aniston? Period. End of story.
Like, why not go hard?
Like, I don't care if you're on a break.
Right. But I
You
like,
don't-
go after her. Like,
Yeah.
And of all characters, like we're supposed to believe he's the one.
Yeah,
Like
right.
he's the one with
It's
her.
got to be Joey. Come
Yeah.
on. What? No,
No, I don't know. I
It's not
wasn't.
gonna be Chandler. Yeah.
it's not going to be Chandler. He's undisputed number one. So
Ross drove me nuts, but I also really liked that relationship and loved that story.
well,
But-
you are a hopeless romantic.
Why do you keep saying
The
that?
ridiculousness of him and his reactions to things do make me laugh here and there.
Yes,
but
I agree with that.
overrated overall.
Yeah, I would agree
Overrated.
with that. It's fair to say, and just an idiot for
Total.
Just
Yeah.
you
Throw
are
away a good thing.
one pathetic loser. Speaking of losers, Kyle, you are on the clock.
All right, my pick is in. And I said that only. I'm going to talk actually for a minute just to annoy Sam about it.
I'm not annoyed at all.
That was my pick.
I love the way this is going.
Because I wanted to start with Friends, end with Friends, and I still am going to end with Friends
Whoa.
because I don't like that show. And my pick is Phoebe. Oh yeah. I don't get the allure of Phoebe.
She's not funny. She's
No.
annoying.
It's not funny. She played the guitar, but everybody was like, the funny part was how bad she was at the guitar, I guess, and singing.
Right.
Like I don't.
But then they made it a thing, and they kept going on and on. It's like,
why did you
I don't
keep
want to
us
listen
going?
to this. Yeah, it sounds terrible.
The weird thing about Friends as a whole is I like the show. I'll sit and watch it. I think it's funny, but I don't really like any of the characters other than Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
She had a name in the show too. I think I don't remember what it was.
Well, yeah, you're a hopeless romantic. So.
But like, I think as a group, it worked for the show's purposes, and I thought it was funny. But individually, I don't like the characters. I feel like there are so many better, like The Office, like you like all of the characters, not all of them, but the majority of the characters for who they are. Parks and Rec, I think, as one of the best character groups of all time in a TV show.
Yep.
But like Friends, like you don't really love the characters a whole lot, but you love the whole show as a
And I think it shows
you know
too
what I
that
mean?
none of them went on their own and did anything except for Jennifer Aniston, right?
Right.
I mean, most of them, the rest of them just kind of flopped the rest of the way
well,
through.
Yep, very true.
what was the other girl's name?
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, she got a lot of plastic surgery.
She did. Yeah, she made enough
got
money
that going
to do
for her.
that.
She made
She looks completely different. She looks crazy.
She really screwed herself over on
Yeah.
that.
It's too bad.
We'll have to tag her in this podcast.
Yeah,
See if she comes on.
That's how you get famous.
Well, that is our draft. So we'll start with my team. I had Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, Coach from New Girl, Mona Lisa from Parks and Rec, the Skipper from Gilligan's Island. Ryan had Ted Mosby, terrible pick. Turtle from Entourage, Charlie Sheen in 2.5 Men. What was his name in that show?
Oh, I don't know.
Winning.
It's too overrated to know.
I don't watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, who? Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
Carlos Spicy Wiener.
That was it.
He also
That
had
was it?
Ross.
I take it back now.
Ross and Friends.
With that name, he's
Yeah,
cool.
rescinded.
Kyle had Chandler from Friends, Steve Urkel, Grace Adler from Will and Grace, and Phoebe from Friends. I know a lot of people that will be mad about how many friends were mentioned
Get at,
in this
Leave a comment.
podcast.
comment.
Yeah, let us.
Get at us about that. We'd love to talk about that.
Yeah. And share us with some friends. Help
Sam
us
will
grow our
respond
audience.
to all of your comments.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
promise.
respond to people. You know I don't know how to do that. So thank you guys for joining us for the most overrated draft. We had a good time doing.
That's the cold brew, right? Right or no?
Yeah, hold on. I did the wrong music. You confused me. All right, here you go.
Oh, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
That's the music.
That's the music that I know.
Trying to read, and I'm yelling.
Yeah, man. We're
Sit down.
You had no idea, right? All right, guys, it's time to make our DeHops Brewing Company and Cafe picks of the week. Before we do that, I want to remind everyone to stop into DeHops Brewing Company and Cafe for some of the best beer in West Michigan. The family-friendly atmosphere is perfect for whatever you have going on, and if you mention State of My Sports, you get a nice little discount when you carry out a crowler on your first pint when you dine in. I always get that, for whatever reason, I read that part badly every single time.
Well, it's okay. I should probably rewrite it here soon.
You should
because,
rewrite it.
The way that lockdowns are going to happen here.
Yeah, so yeah, you can't dine in
as of
right
now.
As of right now.
Right now.
But you can carry out a crowler, right? So they're going to still be doing that. Mention
Yes.
State of My Sports. You'll
And
still
take
be able
out
to do
food
that.
You
They
can
said
also
too.
do take out food.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing that?
Yeah.
All right,
We're gonna-
cool.
Yeah.
Whatever your beer of choice is, we know that DeHops has something that you would like just as much, if not more. Keep an eye out for some of their great beers at your favorite local beer store as well. Carry out a 6-pack of their double dry hopped New England IPA 7 Secrets. Stand Delicious is their incredible juicy IPA that is packed with mosaic hops. It creates notes of pineapple and citrus. And then also their World Beer Championship Silver Medal Award-winning Shadowbox Dark Lager in 6-packs as well. DeHops Brewing Company Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports in 2020, so please check them out. Let them know that we sent you, and continue to support all your local favorite breweries.
Yes, sir. Thank you for doing that awesome read, Ryan. Let's get into some results from last week. Micah went 3-2 for a 24-26 overall record. Kyle, you went 2-3 for a 29-21 overall.
What
Ryan,
happened?
you caught up. You went 3-2 last week as well.
Jarrett
but
made
you
those
jumped
picks.
to 29-21, so you are tied with Kyle, and I am 2 games back. I went 3-2 with 27-23 overall record. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to pick this week. 7.
It's tight at the top.
We'll start with Micah's pick since he is off air and he sent them in via text message.
Right here.
Right
First,
there.
we will start with some college games. Indiana is at Ohio State, who is a 20-point favorite. Micah took Indiana. Kyle, who do you have in this game?
I want Indiana. It's too many points.
Yeah, me too. Indiana's rolling right now. I'm going to take Indiana.
They're playing well.
Yeah. Offense and defense.
Yeah.
If I can take Ohio State and gain a point, I'm going to do it. So I'm taking Ohio State.
Do you always get to pick last? Is that the
No.
way we do this still?
Well, no, Micah would have went last if he was here.
When do I get to go last?
When you're at the bottom
Oh,
in the
okay.
standings.
Sorry, yeah,
King Kyle.
that's right. I'm winning.
All right, so we'll jump to.
Tied for winning. Tied for
So
Yeah,
we're
winning.
going
come
to
on
jump
now.
to one of our in-state teams. Michigan State is at Maryland. Maryland is a 6.5-point favorite. Micah took Maryland. Kyle, what about you?
I think they're going to sit Lombardi. And I want a big comeback win with Michigan State.
Win.
Win. Wait,
Oh.
does that affect my points, though?
That's bold. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah, you're good.
Wait, no. I mean,
Just say
I,
plus 6.5.
no, I'm taking Michigan State.
Plus
but
6.5.
I think they're going to win.
Wow. I'm going to make sure I note that.
Good
Uh,
for you.
Wait, but if we stay within the 6.5, I still get a point here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
There's a Tagovailoa last name in there, right?
I have no idea.
Playing for Maryland.
This
Is
is
he?
really?
Is it? Oh,
Yeah, man,
that's
he's-
Tua's brother?
Yeah,
He's at
Tua's
Maryland now?
brother is the quarterback for Maryland. He's ripping it up. I'm going Maryland all day.
I think he's got a broken femur.
I
I text somebody that Maryland 6.5 is the
Ooh, this
easiest
is my winner.
money I have
Easiest
ever
money.
seen.
Get out of here.
This is, I'm telling you, dude, they're going to score at ease. Michigan State can't score. Period. End of story. I'm taking Maryland by a lot of points, but I'll just take the 6.5. So we'll stick in state. We got Michigan at Rutgers. Rutgers is plus 10. Micah, surprisingly, is taking Michigan. Kyle, you're gonna take Rutgers just because I just hurt you by taking Michigan by taking Maryland. the way
I want
did.
Michigan. I want
Michigan.
I want a bounce back game there too.
Michigan win big, huh? Win by more than 10. Ryan,
Yeah, Michigan.
I'm taking Michigan as well. Makes sense. All right, sorry, I was writing. Well, I was
Packers, Colts.
Yeah, we got Green Bay at the Colts. Colts are a 2.5-point favorite at home. Micah took Green Bay. Kyle.
Green Bay.
Okay. Ryan.
Colts are tough to figure out. They just beat.
They are.
They
aren't
just
they?
beat the Titans,
Yeah, I
too.
know. Yeah.
I'm going the Colts on this one. Green Bay's not looking as good as they should right now.
I love the way the Colts play football. I'm
Yeah.
not a big Phillip Rivers guy, but
They've
it's
looked
working.
really good.
It's
I know.
working. I like what they're doing. I'm taking the Colts as well. And possibly because I hate Green Bay so much, but I forgot to switch the music for the last pick. Should we start over, or should we just let it,
Oh, good.
let it go? No?
Wait, sorry,
All right.
what?
So we'll stick in the NFL. We got
Not the last pick, there's
Titans.
3 more.
Yeah.
We got Titans at the Ravens.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Ravens are -6 against the Titans. Micah took the Ravens. Kyle, what about you?
I want the Titans.
Ryan,
Ravens.
I'm taking the Titans.
We got some picks going. I mean, we got some different.
There's some
ones
back
We
going.
got a
forth,
lot
yeah,
going
yeah.
other way. Yeah.
Movement.
So we got Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seahawks are a 3-point favorite at home. Micah is taking the Cardinals +3. Kyle, where are you feeling this one?
I want the Seahawks.
Ryan.
I think the Cardinals. I think they've got a really good offense, and this Seahawks team is in a bad spot right now.
I feel like I got a bunch of bounce backs here.
Yeah,
I'm counting on too many bounce
that's
backs.
where I'm at here with the Seahawks. They need to bounce back badly, otherwise this season could fall out from under them. I think they're going to bounce back.
I'm just
I hope
realizing
they don't.
I picked too many bounce backs, and some of these are.
I'll
just,
take the underdog.
And some of these are just bad teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the Seahawks defense. I don't.
No.
It's very bad.
Got a lot of big names. They just aren't very good.
Yeah, but I'm going to take the Seahawks. I am. I don't know. It's
I mean, they're home.
yeah.
No
Not that
crowd.
it matters, but I don't know. It's just I hope they lose, so I'm gonna be happy either way here. All right, so we got Lions at the Panthers. This is our last game of the week for our picks. Panthers are a 3-point favorite. Micah is taking the Lions.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Kyle, what about you?
I want the Panthers because I'll never bet on the Lions the rest of the season. and it will serve me well.
All right.
Mark
Ryan?
it.
See about
Mark
that?
it down.
Ryan.
Maybe not just this game, but I'm saying over the course of the season, it will serve me well.
Well, it always does, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
except with Jim Caldwell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't
All
play
right.
this game then.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm taking the Lions.
The wrong team is favored here. Period. End of story. The Lions are the better team. By the time this game starts, it'll probably be a pick'em game.
It almost, yeah.
Well, 3 points is quite a bit.
I think it really should be, just based on the way that both of these teams play at this point,
I agree.
especially if McCaffrey's out.
McCaffrey is out. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah, but the report isn't, so.
No, the report is that he is out, but they're not admitting to it, basically.
Oh,
So the
well.
official injury report doesn't have he's say
Right,
he's
that's
out,
what I
but
mean, yeah.
all of the rumors are he is out. But those are our picks of the week. Into our Michigan beers for episode 81, but before our grades, I should say. But before we do, I want to once again remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They're simply the best beer store in West Michigan. You guys know where they're located.
Are we
It's
all
on
trying that one?
Lake Michigan Drive. Yeah, you guys got to pour some for yourselves.
Good grief.
You guys know where they're located. Lake Michigan Drive. Very easy to get to, no matter where you live in West Michigan. They have rows of beer. They have beer making supplies. They have wine making supplies. They have basically everything you need if alcohol is your poison, I guess. Is that the right way to say it? Correct?
Sure.
What's the right word? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But
I mean,
well.
this is not going well.
no.
We got Thanksgiving coming up. I mean, that's a time to stock up on the booze. You can't go to the bar anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
that's
Michigan.
true.
I had a buddy
6
actually
ounces is
text
important
me.
right now.
Yes. Yeah. So head to Siciliano.
I had a friend text me. He goes, "Hey, my friend or my brother-in-law or his girlfriend's brother."
Just get to the point.
I want to clarify this.
He loves
just listed
IPAs.
5 relationships with people you can have.
He loves IPAs. Name some, and I was like, dude, I gave him some names, and I was like, hey, but check out Siciliano's. They'll definitely point you in the right direction. If you love IPAs, you tell them I love IPAs, and they will point you in the right direction. They'll find beers that you've never heard of, whether it's from Michigan or from across our great nation. They have everything you need, and they have a great staff that'll help you find what you're looking for
They
as
do.
well.
Knowledgeable.
We love that they're part of the State of My Sports family, so check them out and let them know that we sent you. That was brutal. But let's get into our beer grades.
But they're not. They're not brutal.
They are not brutal.
No.
It is my fault that that was brutal.
They're not as
I feel
brutal
like
as
they
us.
should do well right now. Like with everything shutting down,
I
and
think
we
they
come
are.
into
Good
the
point.
holiday. I hope they're doing well. I do.
Yeah.
It's that small business stuff that
Yeah.
Biggest bar night of the year, and nobody's going to be at the
Nobody's
bar.
going out.
Yeah, go
Yep.
to Siciliano's Market. Create your own bar night.
I will.
Drink in the parking lot. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's not even legal. Don't do that. I don't.
Well,
think
I
you
mean,
do
what
that.
are they?
Well,
What
as
is
long as you're
legal?
walking, right?
Right? Yeah,
Well,
good
no,
point.
I
You
guess
could
that's
walk
not.
home.
No, open carry.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. I don't know the law.
They should open that up. If you can't go sit at a bar, you should be able to walk down the street and drink a
Yeah.
beer.
No, Sam will be in Siciliano's parking lot drunk on Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
fighting the man.
Yeah.
Fighting the system.
Oh gosh. Alrighty.
All
You
right.
can't tell me what to do.
Yeah. I'm walking home.
All right, Kyle. Give us a little beer grade. To remind everybody what you're drinking and grade.
Are we doing the one we all?
Start with the one that you started with.
Yeah. Okay.
Transient.
Transient. This is a very good beer. When will those clouds all disappear? Is the name of the
2021.
Is that a question?
Hopefully, yeah. Doesn't it? Yeah, it seems like a question, right? Tangerine, lactose, and vanilla. This is a very good beer. Sam, you tried it a little bit too, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good sip. The color of that was awesome.
Color was really good. Yeah. I feel like towards the end of my tenure, at the end of when I was doing the podcast, before my grades were getting a little too artificially high, this is a really good beer. I would buy this right away. 7.9.
Nice.
Nice. Ryan, what about you?
From Brewery Vivant, cran apple blueberry. I don't even really know. I mean, is this called what is this called?
I don't know. You got the can.
It's not unapologetic fruit. It'd be
Is that what
more
it's called?
cran apple blueberry, right? I think it's just cran apple blueberry.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a mixture of a cranberry apple blueberry sour with a farmhouse ale as well.
They do some goofy stuff.
Yeah, this is good though. I've gotten into the sours
I thought that was good
lately. And
I haven't gotten a sip yet.
This is really good.
You don't get one.
Maybe tomorrow.
Based on
I
the
put 'em in my
sour
truck.
grades, I'm going to give this a good one. I'm going to go 8.3.
I thought, too, the little bit ahead of that, with the farmhouse,
Yeah.
it's very good.
Good
It's
mix.
Very good. Yeah.
All right, I am drinking from Petoskey Brewing.
Where's that?
Super Trooper. It's in Petoskey, Michigan,
Nice.
which is
You
north.
get a map to figure that out?
The biggest thing about this, the biggest thing
Yeah,
about this
let's get
beer
into this. Yeah.
is they have committed to donate 10%, and I already said this, but I got to bring it up again, of all proceeds from the sale of Super Trooper to MI Cops. It's an organization dedicated to supporting surviving families and co-workers of Michigan law enforcement from officers killed in the line of duty. And you can learn more at micops.org. Unbelievable cause. I love the fact that they're standing behind cops when it seems like the unpopular thing to do in this world, which is complete BS. But good for them. It's a brown ale, coffee, donut. Very cool that they did this. It is also a very good beer. I'm not a big brown fan of brown beer fan. Oh boy, brown ale fan, but this was a good beer. I thought the mix between the donut and the coffee was really good, really well done. I'm gonna go with 8.1. What do you stop, guys?
That was so funny.
Mike, I need you to come back, buddy. This is not going well for me.
As soon as me and Ryan are back together, things just don't go as well
just-
for Sam.
Not a good day for Sam.
Wait, what was the score?
8.1. Not that you care.
This should be the beer of Thanksgiving, really, right?
I like
giving back
I
that
think
way
so.
too.
Yeah, I think
awesome.
that's a very cool thing to do. Yeah. Kyle, can you introduce? You got the can
Yeah.
in front of you there of what else we're drinking.
So this is Brew Detroit. Now, we did a whole thing with them before, right?
We've done a few beers with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Cold Brew Detroit. It's a coffee stout. Lot of coffee flavor. Notes of chocolate, caramel, and toffee. Complement local.
If I said that, you guys
roasted.
would kick my A.
I mean, I messed up one
You
word.
guys just let them go.
I messed up one word, not 40. Roasted, cold steeped coffee.
Boom, roasted.
A lot of coffee in there.
Man, I'm just done.
I
Yeah.
don't like brown ales. Boom, roasted.
Oh, careful. I think this is kind of good, though.
It is good. It's got a nice
Um,
little taste to it.
A lot of coffee in there.
There's a lot of coffee,
seven-
but the caramel helps, I think.
7-0 for me.
Ryan,
You went 7.0.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's better than that. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
7.6. Good flavors though. I really like the coffee's strong.
Yeah, it is.
And I do like that about it.
I do like how strong the coffee is. It's like one of those one and dones. Great nightcap. I'm gonna go with a 7.8. I like it. I like it a lot.
Good for you, Sam.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you're back with us.
It's been so fun.
So much fun with you here.
I'm getting fired after tonight.
Thank you.
You weren't the one that said you don't like brown. So I mean,
Right.
somebody else said
He's
that.
fired.
Yeah.
Ryan's now CEO. So
Thank you guys for recording. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
Peace.
People like to tell me I'm gonna burn out soon, no, maybe worse. Running on coffee, 92. Oh, I ain't worried about the chorus, but even the second verse. Long as I'm breathing, I got nothing to lose. I'm living 6 feet down, doing 27 over, and I don't quite give a damn. I was born with a lead foot and rust-up hands.
Thank you again to all our great sponsors, the House Brewing Company and Cafe, Siciliano's Market, Mac Web Design. Also, thank you to Paradise Outlaw for allowing us to use their music for our introduction, Detroit Hustle, and for our out 6 feet down.